Hey everyone, welcome back to Make Others Successful, a podcast where we share insights, stories, and strategies to help you build a better workplace. We're back. It's the new year. We want to dive into a little bit of a meta topic this episode, but we want to zoom out a little bit and say, while we talk about all of these things, what are the larger impacts beyond this person in this role doing this job, and what do we expect from a long-term perspective? And so we wanted to kind of talk about this in the context of the new year and say, what if 2026 was a year that you could kind of rethink how you're thinking about your work and what role you play in that?
Yeah, I'll just go right into it. We're going to talk about the meta-human and a lot of the reasons why behind all of the things that we do, the things that we try to teach. Of course, it's like, yeah, we're going to make a better workplace and your daily work is going to be better and your life is going to be less stressful and those types of things. But I think there's a bigger thing behind it all that we don't often think of, and that is how our behavior and patterns that we're implementing today, or the way that we behave at work, or the way that we do things, have an even bigger impact for the future. And so it's not just about me today, me tomorrow, or even my coworkers today or tomorrow. It's about, maybe even 50, 150, 1,000 years from now, right? The things that you're doing could have an impact. And that human experience that we all as humans have on this planet, realizing that the things that we do at work, the way that we work, the patterns that we implement actually impact that human experience much further down the road than we typically consider.
Yeah, it's a very selfless perspective, right? It's very difficult to connect the dots with what we're talking about with what's in it for me, right?
Yeah.
We just believe we're called to more. And so I feel like a lot of the things that we talk about over the last few years all relate to this topic, like this why behind what we're doing.
You're right. It is very selfless, but I think the younger generation, part of the thing that they're looking for is to be part of something bigger than themselves. And it's right at your fingertips. People don't realize it. You don't have to be have some crazy impactful job, be a millionaire, be a philanthropist. There are ways that you can impact things well into the future just by what you do in your daily work.
Yeah, I just had to look up the quote because it reminds me of this, but it's an old Greek proverb that says, "A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they will never sit in." And I think that's, we want to build a great society. And so we're going to be talking about meta things today. So if you're looking for tech tips and tricks, this is not the episode for you. Find one of our other ones. If you want to talk about some of the why, or hear about some of the why behind what we do, this is a great one. So the problem statement, the format here is I'm basically interviewing Mike on this topic because he's interested. He's been thinking about it quite a bit. And so I'll see what I can pull out of this conversation. But the problem statement is leaders and organizations focus on things like cost, licensing, end users, driving sales. And then one step further down from that, the individuals, they care about checking off their tasks and meeting goals and playing their role, but they're missing a bigger point, which is the way we work matters. And every day we have an opportunity to make ourselves better, stronger, faster. But we also recognize what we're doing adds value, capability, and enhances the meta-human.
Absolutely.
Want to unpack that a little bit?
Oh man, there's so much there. We all go to work every day and we've got the list of things in front of us and we got to prioritize it, and it stresses us out and we just want to be done. Right. But in every one of those things that we're doing, there's probably a better way that we can do it that's going to make it better for the next person that comes along. And ultimately, when you do that, if you do that, let's say in 3 different areas, and you establish that pattern and you consistently do that, and the others in your organization who come alongside you see that pattern and they start to do that, and that organization lives, let's say, beyond 20 years, right? The new
Mhm.
people who start at that organization are going to inherit those built-in patterns, right? It's almost like a genetic modification to the human, right? This is a modification, it's a modern work modification to the meta-human, right? When those new employees come along 20 years from now, they inherit all of that stuff, all of those patterns that we implemented. And when they show up to do their work, they're already 5 steps ahead, right? Because that has been established.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the concept. Like Simon Sinek will talk about the infinite game.
Mm.
Like there's no winning business. Like sure, your business can be successful, but there is a losing business, which is losing the business. But what does winning really look like? It's not a finite game that has a start and an end all the time. It's something that goes beyond what we know. So I feel like the example that you gave when we were talking about this, we we often will sometimes relate it to like Bible stories, right?
Oh yeah.
When you were thinking about this analogy of what like Abraham and stuff
Yeah.
like
This
that.
is, this is the Abraham story, right? And that's one of the oldest stories ever told. But God tells Abraham, hey, come out of your luxurious slumber and live a life of adventure and meaning, and I will make you father of nations, right? So essentially what he's saying there is there's a pattern of living, there's a way of living that is more successful than what you're doing. Do this, and your genes, your genetics will be, you know, father of nations.
Hmm.
You'll last forever,
Yeah,
a lineage that lasts forever. And like, what's more important than that,
yeah.
right? Like, we only have what, maybe 80 years on this planet, but to think that there are decisions that you do make, uh, staying married to your spouse for one, for example, uh, that are cosmic in nature, they are eternal in nature, right? You make that choice every day, and you're affecting forever, right?
Hmm.
And there's not much more bigger than that.
Yeah, it's the easiest way that I think about that is I'm learning more and more how people are affected by their parents and how they're brought up.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the you either want to be like your parents or do the exact opposite of what your parents did
Right.
and make a difference. And that cascades
Yep.
through
Yeah.
generations.
I don't know anybody who's a dad. You want if you have kids, the thing you want is you want them to have it better than you did, and you
Hmm.
strive to make that happen. If you know, and that's even if you're a bad dad, you want your kids to have it better than you did. And part of that is sure making their life better, making their life easier, but you also want them to learn the patterns that work,
Hmm.
and to, if at all possible, learn those the easy way, not the hard way, so that they're starting ahead, and so that their kids learn those things even sooner, and
Hmm.
so on and so forth. Right? It's all about making others successful.
It's right behind. Oh, they can't read it in
Oh
the
man,
camera.
see what I did there though?
Yeah, right. Tying into our value. The thing that uh, reinforces this to me is I just got off a group coaching call with a couple folks, and they are all they were all women, all trying to move this needle at their company of how do we work better, and it is encouraging because they are wearing this persona without maybe recognizing it. But they are saying, "What is this beyond me?" And what one of the ladies there kept saying, like, "I want to replace myself. I want to
Yeah,
automate myself out of a job. I want to make myself promotable." And all of those things feed into this concept. Everyone with that mindset should be viewed as a valuable asset to any company.
yeah,
Um, and I think society tells us to or tempts us to think the opposite a lot of this is mine and I want to stay away, stay off my turf. And uh, there's no doubt that you can find success in that, right?
well,
You can make money off of that.
Elon Musk has told us all that 20 years from now, nobody's going to actually have to work.
Yeah.
Work will be a choice because the robots are going to do it all. And I think some people buy into that because they see, oh, I can just sit on my couch and watch TV, or, the robots will make the food for me, or whatever that means to them. I don't think that's what Elon means, right?
Mhm.
I really don't. I think, um, what he's really driving at is there is opportunity there to improve the human experience overall. And if that means we're doing something else with our time instead of menial tasks, that's
Mm,
great
mhm,
because we're establishing a new pattern. And there are so many inventions and things like the smartphone, for example, that make the human experience worse in some ways, but better in so many other ways, right? We're all so connected. It's our relationships can be more connected in positive ways today than they could have been in the past, where we had to write letters and send them in the mail, right?
mhm,
So there are so many improvements in the human experience, and it changes what it means to be human today versus what it meant to be a human 1,000 years ago.
mhm,
And what we're doing and what we're teaching people at work is you can change what work's going to look like 1,000 years from now
mhm.
by taking these steps.
It's a fun thought experiment. Let's ground us a little bit and say what does it actually look like to behave this way at work, or maybe someone's leading a workplace and they want to embody this mindset and think about things this way. One of the first things that we promote is the concept of like communicating and collaborating in a topic based way
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah, organizational knowledge, right?
Yep.
Like fostering that fostering knowledge and communication that facilitates others in the organization, right?
Hmm.
That helps other people know what's going on. You're feeding the organization's knowledge, not any one individual's knowledge, right? So taking things getting things out of inboxes, stop emailing internally, using topic-based communication in tools like Teams or Slack, and then making sure that documents are put in, the appropriate places in Teams and channels, accessible to who needs to have access to them, searchable, right? All of those things make the experience of finding them, working with them, using Copilot on them, all of those things become much easier for everyone involved. And that's just an overall. That's the rising tide lifts all boats, right?
Hmm.
Mentality that we talk about in our foundations course. But that's just one example, right?
Yeah, I'm recognizing I my goal of this episode would be if I could put it in a time capsule and say someone watches it or listens to it 100 years from now, that the things that we talk about all seem so silly. Like you guys were using team, like 100 years ago,
Yeah,
email wasn't a thing, right?
right.
Uh, the the tools we're using today probably are not going to be a thing in the same format, right? Like, what will it look like? I don't know, but I hope that what we're talking about can be seen as uh, virtuous, right? Like something that uh, if you show up to work this way, you, regardless of what tools you use, you will see success.
Yeah, automation. So just being able to like we Mitch, how many tasks do you do every day that you wish you just didn't have to do because they're, oh yeah, I did this yesterday or I did this last week. We all have those things. And when we get time, we look for ways to automate them. And then uh, there is personal automation, which is going to impact you, but teaching others how to personally automate their own tasks, because everybody's going to have that. So that's an area that we care about. But then also recognizing that the thing that you're automating, if it matters to the organization, it ought to be done in a way that the organization has control over it, has visibility into it, so that it can outlive you, right? Otherwise, it's just personal automation and it goes away when you disappear. And that does nothing for the next guy, right? The meta human.
Yeah, I just heard of same in that group coaching. They talked about how they lost somebody, like they passed away, and they did a very core function of their business, and it was like months before
Yeah.
anyone could make any semblance of that business process. And it was a huge, like they wanted to grieve his loss, but they were so busy trying to make sense of
Yeah.
the stuff that it just, that experience can be so much better.
Yep.
Um, so yes, and then for us at Bulb, I'm talking like meta now.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
YouTube content is that it's an example of this, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're putting stuff out there now I'll say on YouTube, but in the cosmos that in theory is going to live forever. It's going to live well beyond us. And so a lot of the stuff that we put out there is tool specific, and those tools are probably going to be gone, right? Power Automate 100 years from now. Probably not a thing. Will somebody watch that video? Maybe, right? Maybe my great grandchildren might watch that video and be like, oh, this was my great grandpa. That's kind of cool to think
Right.
about, right? But to the extent that we can talk about the meta and mindset and approach, and culture and behavior and how we treat each other,
Mm-hmm.
and how that is mirrored in the tools that we use and how we use those tools and the patterns that are involved, that stuff will live forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're throwing it all out there.
It's fun.
It's something that my dad did not have the ability to do, right? Like there's a certain segment of society that has traditionally will live forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
John Wayne, Humphrey Bogart, all those guys, they're going to live forever. You watch those movies forever, anytime you want. That's really cool. And the rest of us never had access to that until now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of cool in that way.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was going to say.
I threw you off with the Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Humphrey Bogart is? Are you kidding me?
What context would I know Humphrey Bogart?
He's a movie star.
Movies that I've seen?
You should have seen.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been enlightened, or I haven't been.
Casablanca?
I've heard of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I have not seen
That's
the
your
movie.
homework. Don't watch Casablanca.
We used to have an intro to our podcast that was, and we'll make others successful, and then makes others successful.
Yeah.
And it became like a little bit of a mouthful and like not super marketable, but that is what we're talking about.
That's exactly
here.
what we're talking about.
How do we enable people so they can enable people? And yeah, I hope people see that. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I think that's part of our, if we talk to people, like new people or work with new people, they're like, I feel like you guys are a little bit different. I'm not trying to like toot our own horn in that sense, but I can almost solely label it as this. Like we wear that persona in what we do every day, and it's great.
Absolutely. It's a huge motivator for me. When Matt Dressel and I started this business, it was like, well, what do we want this to be? We want it to be bigger than us. We want it to outlive us if at all possible. Ooh, what does that look like? What does that mean? Right? What do we have to do? So we're always thinking about ways that we can impact the future for the good.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to stress that, like, sure, there's this like live forever, oh, maybe that's what eternal life really means question. But I think it's a little bit more near term. And that is this thinking gives you the ability to actually find ways to upgrade the human, upgrade the meta-human in the now, right? And if at your organization, you can get organization-wide adoption of, let's say, topic-based communication or something like that, all of a sudden, the meta-human at your organization has leveled up, right? It's like, oh, new genetic modification. This is now going to happen this way. Like my biceps are stronger, right?
Yeah.
And that's really kind of a cool thing to think about.
For serum.
So what? Yeah, exactly, right? There's a little bit of superhero that you're adding on, and so, they may not sound like, oh, wow, that's so amazing, but we know that topic-based communication changes things for organizations, and it's a little bit like that.
It's interesting. We're painting this in a very positive light, and I think overall it's positive. I think there's a small downside to it too, of when we think about adding someone new to the team. Yes, we have systems like this that make it easy for someone to onboard, but there is a mindset and approach that you either get or you don't, and it props up pretty quick. You kind of figure that out. But some people, it takes a little bit to really get, we're not, they're like, I don't know a good example.
That's very interesting. Cause I'm thinking that in light of like current circumstances that we're about to step into. And part of me wonders if maybe that's the thing we need to teach when we have a new hire, for example, is we need to teach them, hey, we're working on the meta-human here. So there's a bunch of stuff when you show up that are going to be, it's all new to you. You haven't gained those skills yet. You haven't had that genetic modification, right? But prepare yourself because that's about to happen.
We have a particular way of working that, takes some effort and some upskilling time. Hopefully this is helpful. This is interesting to someone. We're interested to know what you think of it. We have a link set up, bulb.digital/feedback. If this is intriguing to you, obviously, we're rolling into a new year, so we're dreaming a little bit. We're thinking about these things, but I'm interested to know if this is relevant to you, or if you guys are like, guys, stop preaching, stop talking at that level and get back to the tools. We could do that too, but it's always fun to kind of zoom out a little bit and talk about these sorts of topics.
I, for one, love this stuff, so if you guys like it.
Mike's going to make a spin-off series.
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. We're going to, make this one a little bit short, but it's been fun talking about, and I'm sure we'll be talking in light of these things someday soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks.